Hey everyone, I'm back. I'm Samantha and I'm a therapist. I'm creating a video every day for a year. This is video 311. Thanks so much for being here and watching and listening. And I hope you guys had an awesome day today. Today was a long day for me. I had a lot of sessions today and it was awesome and a bit tiring. Lots of stuff happened today, so I might get into that in a minute if I feel like it. But we're going to do day 5. Your wish is my command. That is day number 5 of the Countdown to Riches, 21 Days of Wealth Attracting Habits by Rhonda Byrne. So we're creating some riches in the next 21 days. Have you guys had any movement in some certain areas, or any money fall from the sky for you, or money falling off the trees for you? I've experienced some things like that lately that have been really interesting. Money just coming from nowhere. Very interesting. I had some opportunities come out of nowhere as well. We say out of nowhere, but it's coming from us, right? We're creating things and we have the power to do that when we're plugged into our power. So we'll get into that in a minute, but I'm not going to read this whole thing like I have been. The practice for today is talking about the genie, how like the old story of the genie, the original story was that we don't get 3 wishes, we get unlimited wishes from the genie. So this is basically saying like, your wish is my command. The genie would say, whatever you wish for, your wish is my command. So the activity today was to go to your wish list that you came up with on, I believe it was day 1, and you pick the top 10 things that you want most, and you add up the money for those 10 desires, so you have a grand total. And then in this book, it's got a check to the Bank of the Universe, so you're supposed to write down the total of all 10. And then as you receive some of these things or the money for these things, you cross them off your list. So that was the practice for today. But I really like the thought of just thinking about the fact that we all have this genie that we can access, and we have unlimited wishes. So I have on my wall, one of my cards I have, it says, your wish is granted. And so I just keep that up there as a reminder that anything that I want, it's already here. It's already for me. And that's really just day 5 was like, I kind of just turned it into my own thing. You can, make a copy of a check if you want to, like on a piece of paper. You can draw a check, or you can write yourself a check. Or if you don't have checks and you don't know what checks are, because we don't really use a lot of checks too much anymore these days. We mostly don't use them at all, hardly. Sometimes we do, I guess, but just write it out like you received it from the Bank of the Universe. It just handed you this money. And how would that feel if you got it? I'm going to take it a step further. It's like, we can do these practices, but I do recommend really feeling them. What would it feel like if you had a genie that said, hey, I'm going to give you unlimited wishes? Like, what would you wish for? And how would you feel if you received those wishes? And then, as Neville would say, you act as if. You act as if, and then whatever you act as if all day long will harden into fact after you persist in that state. So there's been some things in my life that I've been asking, like, what state am I occupying that I would create this? And so you have to ask yourself, what state am I living in during my day? Am I in self number 1 or self number 2, where I want to be? And how would you think and feel on a daily basis if you had what you wanted? If the genie said, here you go, here's this, how would you feel? And really get into that felt sense, is what they call it, in the body. Like, you actually can feel that you have it. If you are wanting something, then you're in the state of wanting or waiting even, or maybe even lack. You know how when you have something, you don't sit there and think about how you want it. You already have it. So you're thinking about, wow, I have this and it feels so good and I love this. Let's say it's a new car. You get in it and you smell the new car smell, and you drive it and you hit the gas really hard, like I like to do, and go really fast. And then you just have like this fun time. You open up the sunroof and you just turn up the music, and you just go down the road and you're looking around and you're like, yeah, I'm in my new car. Like, you have that car in that moment. When you actually get the thing, you can feel that you have it. So when you don't have something, you don't have it. You're in the state of not having and waiting. And so this goes for, a specific person. This goes for a health issue. You want health and wellness, but yet you've got this illness. It's just a small shift in consciousness to get us to where we want to be. But there's always value where you are right now. Always remember that. Always honor what you're feeling right now and where you are right now, because there is a reason. I've had a couple of clients that are dealing with some like significant health issues. And so we go back to the emotional side, because I'm obviously not a doctor and I can't diagnose, medical things or, treat them with medicine, obviously, but I can go into the emotions and say, hey, like what ways or what value does this bring for you that you wouldn't have learned, or what lesson is this bringing for you that you would not have learned had you not have experienced this right now? That it's here for some valuable reason. And so when you look at it like that, instead of succumbing to, and surrendering to this thing all the time and saying, I have no control here, I'm just gonna, just sit in it, it feels powerless. So that is a state of feeling powerless, which means we aren't plugged into our power at that time. So I've been telling people, like, you can't vacuum a room, until you plug that vacuum in. There's no way that vacuum is going to turn on. And so you got to plug it into the wall, into the power. So we've got to remember to plug ourselves in, whatever that looks like for you. I believe it starts with breathing properly. The breath is so important. Whenever I'm feeling stressed or, out of my body, I just make sure I get back into the body and I'm like, hey, breathe. I have to remind myself to breathe sometimes. So I really like to do I don't know, this has so many names, but you can do this any number, like it's 4-4-4 or 4x4. I don't know. There's so many, like box breathing and all these things, but any number that works for you. I like to breathe in, I like to breathe in about 8 seconds, like breathe in 8 seconds, hold for 8 seconds, let out for 8 seconds, and don't take another breath for 8 seconds. And then do it all over again. And it is for me, so calming. And it's kind of trained my lungs to fill up with more air. And that just naturally calms the mind and body down. So yeah, there's just practices that you can do to calm that nervous system that might be out of whack and overactive. And so I find that is like the number one thing to do. And another thing to do is remember who you truly are. I think that illnesses show up too when we're not being our true self, and we're not we're maybe suppressing emotion that needs to come out. It could be like we need to have a conversation with somebody and we're just not doing it, we're avoiding it. And that's okay. Sometimes we get mad at ourselves or something whenever we're avoiding, and we're like, no, we put shame on ourselves, and it's like, no, we don't need to do all that. We just need to notice, why would I be avoiding this? And just talk to yourself about it, have a conversation. And it doesn't have to be turned into a problem. I think we turn things into problems that don't need to be problems sometimes. They're not, they don't even need to be a challenge for us. We can just honor where we are and say, hey, that's enough. It's okay. And then remember that everything that's happening is always, I've been doing this deliberately as I teach this and remind myself that no matter what things look like, they will iron themselves out, or they will fall right back into place if they look like they're falling apart. I had something happen yesterday where a client shifted out of my life. Then I got a bunch more clients to replace that person. But that person was not really, I wasn't aligned to that person anymore. I'm so evolving every single day with my practice that it's going in a different direction. So I'm finding that different people are more attracted to me now, and other people that were attracted to me before, it's we're shifting. And I'm kind of I think we're doing great here. Maybe we don't need therapy anymore, and people are feeling better. And I'm I'm going a different direction in some ways. So in other words, I'm evolving really fast. And I think sometimes we're scared to do that. But the more you become your true self, and the more you're actually living from your heart and not so much your mind, it just feels different. And I think it's uncomfortable for some people to live from their heart, because we've been taught to kind of shove that away and shove our feelings away and just go, go, go all the time. And that just proves to like burn us out. And I'm not for, I'm all for a grind. I'm also like, I'm all about the grinding and, you know, working hard and stuff, but I also am not for, I don't like burnout. I've felt that before in my life. So I don't like that. So it's all about like relaxing the mind enough to where you can kind of connect to your heart and ask your heart what it wants. Maybe that's a question you can ask. Like, hey, heart, what do you want? Like, what do we want here in this life? Like, what do we want now? Maybe we knew what we wanted yesterday and last week and last month and last year and everything, but like maybe it's shifted a little bit and we're wanting something different, and that's okay when something shifts. And yeah, it's life can be very, very interesting if you let it be, because like any challenge that comes up, then something will always come around to replace it in a better way. And we have to look at it like that. You know, when you look at things differently, they will change, you know, and you have to change your own perception first. So I do believe there is value in having a headache. There's value in illness. I mean, in the moment, yeah, like we don't want to experience that. Like right now during this day, I have this 70-pound barbell that I need to take it down to 50 because I remember why I took it down to 50. And I put it back up to, you know, 70 pounds, and I've been lifting it, and now I'm hurting and I have a headache like all day today. And of course we've got a tornado watch. So that, you know, the weather doesn't help things, the pressure and everything, but I attribute it more to, I was just stressing my body out with lifting this heavy weight. And I was probably, you know, just stressing myself in general. And so I've got tension and tightness. And then I had to ask myself, okay, emotionally, what's going on? And some stuff was going on yesterday. And then things like shifted, and nothing is ever bad. It's like, there's just so many things going on at once that you don't know where the pieces are going to fall. And I think that's kind of it's like a fun way to just kind of like step back and just watch what happens. And that's what I did. And it worked out so well. So, and do I get sad sometimes? Yes, I do. I feel all the emotions. I'm a very emotional, sensitive person. So I've had to really train my mind to think the way that I think and how I talk on here, like what I'm teaching. But I wanted to pass this along too, that like, I feel like I don't want to like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, I want to teach things, but I also want to be that reminder for people too. I think we need less teaching sometimes and more reminding that all the answers are within ourselves and we don't necessarily need anyone outside of us. And so I tell all my peeps, I'm like, hey, I'm guiding you back to you every single time. There is nothing special about me. I'm just a normal human, just like anybody else. And I know nothing. I know only what works for me today, because it may change tomorrow. So, and that's about all I know. I know what my name is and things like that, and I know what I want right now, and I know what I want maybe tomorrow, but like, again, things change all the time. So allow for yourself to shift and change. And I want to give this to you too. I've had like younger people in my life that were like, I literally had one person tell me one time, this was a friend of mine. She was so young, and she was like, I thought I had learned everything by now. And they were like early 20s. And I was like, oh no, you have not learned everything by now. You're never going to stop learning. And they were like, what? They didn't believe me at first, but you're never done. You're always going to be learning something. And so just embrace that you're never done. There's no hurry to get anything done. And you're just going to evolve every single day. And so remember, your wish is my command. You're going to ask your genie, maybe put a genie on your wall. I don't know, draw a picture of a genie if you're a good artist, or print one out and like have it be a reminder, or put it on a card. Your wish is my command, or put what I have up there, you know, your wish is granted. Something like that reminds you, hey, I have unlimited possibilities available to me. What do I want? And remember to be yourself. Connect to your true self. I really do fully believe that all illness and of any kind is us not being ourself and being honest about that. And I know I've heard Bashar say some people are in denial that they're in denial about knowing things. And I was like, man, we just cover up our beliefs so much and we don't even know we're doing it. And then we don't even know that we're operating from anger all day long sometimes about a certain thing that might be going on, like a person that, like a coworker maybe, that like you got to watch your thoughts that come up while you're at work, because there's something underneath them that might need to be addressed. And it's normally some belief that was put there so long ago. So again, I was going to keep this video very simple, but I don't know if I succeeded. But I do want to keep this channel very, very simple as much as possible, because there's so many things I could start talking about that could put us all in the weeds. And so that's why, again, another reason why I didn't start this sooner is because I had no idea how I was going to narrow down all the things I've been studying for 15 years plus. And so thank you for listening to me ramble every day, because it is helping me narrow somewhat, but I do find that sometimes, some days, it's actually expanding more, and I'm like, well, crap, now I got to narrow again. And so we're never done. We just live in the moment and enjoy as much as you can, and decide what state you want to live in. What state am I occupying right now? Am I living in hope? Am I living in happiness? Am I living in waiting and scarcity? Or am I knowing that this is who I am and this is what I have and this is where I'm going, and creating that state from within, generating these emotions without having anything outside of us, and just learning to calm the mind. And I think living in the now is super important to remember that we're never done. We just have this eternal now moment, and that's all we need to focus on, and say, hey, Genie, here's my wish. And they say, your wish is my command, and whatever it is. And just know that you can have anything. Like, just, you've got to start knowing that you can have anything. You can heal anything. The body has intelligence to heal itself. So does the mind. Anything that you've been through is there for a reason, and it's valuable no matter what it was. And not that we would want to go through those things again. I honestly would not want to go through one thing that I've ever really been through. Not one thing. But I can look back at it and be like, okay, I see why that was valuable for me. Maybe I didn't wish, I wouldn't wish that on myself ever again. And I never would have wished it on myself to begin with. But it held some sort of value or lesson for me. And for me, the things that happened to me as a child, I was able to use them in, my job and help people. So, and I'm so thankful that I had those experiences, because I wouldn't have known how to properly, in my opinion, for me, I wouldn't have been able to properly empathize and know what to say to them to make them, kind of get on their way to feeling better. So everything holds value, in other words. So go to your Genie again, and just ask, believe, receive. Okay. And today's just about asking. So ask the Genie. And we'll go to day 6 tomorrow, and I'll quit rambling, because this is a total ramble tonight. Thank you if you made it to the end of this. Sam's rambles, as usual. So thank you guys so much. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening or day, whatever time it is when you catch this. Remember, you're so loved. Tell yourself that in the mirror tonight, or pass that on to somebody who needs to hear it. And remember to appreciate yourself, because what you appreciate appreciates. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.